I've never read the book Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers by Robert Sapolsky, but I've heard enough people in my life talk about it that I have a general idea of what the book's about. And from my understanding, there's the story that he tells where he talks about a zebra getting chased by a lion across the savannah, and the zebra gets away, and that years later, let's say 5 years later, that same zebra isn't standing around the watering hole talking to all the other zebras about, hey, remember that one time, like the lion almost got me? Like, wasn't that awful? That's not how animals respond to stress. That instead, zebras do this thing, this kind of shaking off where all of their muscles ripple and, they're shaking it off through their musculature. And that's the way they dislodge stress. So I actually want to offer you a practice, which is referred to as shaking. And this is a way that you can somatically discharge some of the stress in your body because, cognitive practices are great, being able to talk with people conversationally about what's going on with you. But we have this negativity bias in the brain that means we can get really fixated on something terrible that happened to us. And that's not to say that it's not important, and it's not to say we shouldn't process it. But this kind of rehearsing that we do where we can get really into all the details and it can put us right back in the moment and we can experience all the emotions and we're getting the reaction from our friends and loved ones, that can really ingrain a story in our bodies. And sometimes it's helpful to try to let it go somatically. So I invite you to do this with me. So go ahead and stand. Make sure your feet are about shoulder distance apart, slight bend in your knees, and toes are pointing forward in a martial arts parallel. So you're kind of lining up the outside edge of your foot facing forward in this parallel position. And again, soft bend in the knees, tailbone dropping down towards the ground. And you're going to start to bounce. And when you bounce, you're going to relax in your ankles, your knees, and your hips. You're shaking. You're relaxing in your shoulders, your elbows, and your wrists. And I'm doing this with you, so you might hear the bounce in my voice as I'm doing this. And you're going to relax the back of your head. So you're shaking. And as you're shaking, you're breathing in through your nose. And then I want you to exhale out through your mouth with a long sigh. Inhaling in through your nose. You can make noise if you want. Letting your wrists be floppy, letting your head be floppy. Shaking it off. Acting like a zebra, letting it go. And then if you want to increase the intensity of this, if you're like me and you like intensity, you can go ahead and knock your heels into the ground. So you're increasing that bounce. And now there's this reverberation that's happening throughout your bones, creating a more intense shake. Keep the breathing going as I'm adding pieces. And this is a take what you need and leave the rest. So you can start with the prime that I gave you where you're just bouncing. You can add in the heels. I'm going to keep giving you some options. All of it is optional. Customize this practice for yourself right now. But keep breathing. That's the one thing that's not optional. Now, this is a variation I learned from Robert Pang, so keep bouncing. And go ahead and let your arms drift up to the sides of your bodies as if you were stretching your wings into their full wingspan, but let your wrists keep being floppy. And for now, have your palms face up. Switch your hand orientation, so now your palms are face down, wrists are still floppy. Your calves might be getting tired. Again, you can always go back to that first bounce if that's a little easier. Let your hands drift in front of you. Arms are nice and long and parallel to the ground, but now you're reaching out in front of yourself. Again, palms up and palms down. And let your arms drift all the way up over your head. Don't worry if the neighbors are looking through the window. They're going to wonder what you're doing. And maybe they'll try it, and then they'll feel better. Inhaling. Exhaling. And let your arms slowly drift back down to your sides. And start to slow your bounce down until you find stillness. Breathing in and out through the nose now. And notice what you're feeling. You may notice movement, any pulsing, streaming, tingling, vibrating, flowing. You might notice temperature, anything that feels warm or cool. And notice pressure, anything that feels heavy or light, empty or full, tense or relaxed. Notice what you notice. Go ahead and bring your feet together. Big toes are touching. And place your palms over your lower dantian in Qigong and Chinese medicine, Taoism. This is a spot that's 2 inches below your navel, and we're really focusing on the center. So 2 inches below the navel and 2 inches in is where the lower dantian is. So you're going to place your open palms over that area just below your belly button, palms resting on top of each other. With your feet together, you may notice that you're rocking or swaying a little bit. Let your body do its little dance. This posture is called bamboo in the wind. So let yourself float. And then when you're ready, you can let that go, letting the arms drift back down towards the sides. Stepping the feet apart if that feels better, letting the eyes open if they were closed. And that's a somatic practice for how to clear stress from the body quickly and easily. Hope you enjoyed.